Hey besties, it's Sarah. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a video that I've been really looking forward to, and that is a choose your own adventure theme. So essentially, the way this video is going to work is that my dear friend Riley from the channel Riley Marie has created me a series of video prompts that have questions in them, and based on my answers to the questions, there's going to be a different reading challenge assigned to the answer.
Your first question is very simple. Is today currently an even day or an odd day? If it is an even day, click here. If it's an odd day, click here.
Okay, so I'm starting this video on August 5th, so it's an odd day. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on that video.
Okay, so it's an odd day. Your prompt for this is to pick a book that you recently added to your TBR.
All right, it looks like the book that I most recently added was on July 7th, and I added You'd Look Better as a Ghost by Joanna Wallace. And I think I added this because someone said it was a serial killer book because I really enjoyed A Certain Hunger during Summerween. So I'm very excited to pick this up. I don't really have any expectations for it. I just know that someone in the comments recommended it, and I added it to my want to read so that I wouldn't forget. Also, while you're watching this, you're like, wow, that is so fun. I wish I could do something like that. I actually am going to be hosting a readathon on my Patreon where I do the same thing, where I have video prompts and different paths and things that you can do. Okay, I am currently balancing my camera very precariously, so I apologize if this is just like not a good angle because you can see like the top of my steering wheel. But I just went to Taco Bell and I got a bunch of food because I was feeling kind of sad today. I've actually been doing a no fast food ban. No fast food ban, is that a double negative? Anyway, I've not been eating fast food. So for the entire month of July, I didn't eat any Taco Bell or Zaxby's, which is a really big accomplishment for me because I normally eat it like at least twice a week. And so I'm trying really hard to reduce the amount, but I decided in the month of August to kind of celebrate and reward myself for doing so well in July that I would allow myself to eat it once each, like, so I have like a ticket for each one. So I did cash in on the Zaxby's the first day of August, and now it's like August 6th and I'm cashing in on the Taco Bell, but it's fine. It's fine. I just really wanted it today. I just really enjoy the feeling of going and getting fast food and like eating it alone in my car and like listening to an audiobook. I also did order an obscene amount of food. I'm not even going to show you how much food I got because you will judge me, but I got a couple of different like tacos and like little things. So I'm going to eat that and listen to my audiobook. I also thought that this would be a great time for me to give you a reading update because I am almost finished with You'd Look Better as a Ghost. So this book is following our main character Claire, and she is a female serial killer. Killing people is kind of just a hobby of hers. And when we open the book, she entered a painting into a contest and she gets an email saying that she's accepted. And then she gets a follow-up email from the guy saying that he accidentally emailed the wrong Claire. So she hunts him down at a bar and murders him. But unfortunately, someone was watching, and so she starts to get blackmailed. And then also she starts going to a support group because her father recently died and she really misses him and she's dealing with grief, and she kind of wants to kill everyone in the support group, and she may or may not have also killed someone there. So there's a lot of killing going on and she's just trying to not get caught. It's kind of like if you took A Certain Hunger and like turned up the silly, but I am thoroughly enjoying this because I support women's wrongs, and Claire is a very fun character to read from. Like, a lot of times Claire wants to kill someone because they have bad fashion sense. So I'm gonna eat my Taco Bell. Again, will not be showing you everything I got in here because you don't need to know. You don't need to know. I will show you at least one thing. I always get a spicy potato soft taco whenever I come here, so it's so good. Also, Taco Bell's toxic trait is that they only serve Pepsi, so I did bring my own Diet Coke, so we'll cheers. I finished the book and it's gonna be a 4.5 stars. Ah, it was so good. I kind of want to give it 5 stars. I keep thinking about it. 5 stars are so emotional for me, and I don't give them out very often. I feel like I read some books recently that also could have been 5 stars. I don't know, I loved the twist at the end. It was like the perfect amount of twisty, but also silly goofy. But just, it was so good. Like, if you love like satire, feminist thriller vibes, you're gonna enjoy this. Not to say that it's feminist to be a serial killer. Now that I think about it more, definitely take the word feminist out. It's just kind of like a comedy thriller. Unhinged women. Am I right?
Welcome back. How is your book? That's actually the question. What rating did you give your book? If you gave it between 1 and 3 stars, click here. If you gave it 4 or 5 stars, click here. Okay, obviously we gave it 4 or 5 stars, so let's go ahead and see what the prompt is going to be. Yay! I'm so glad that you liked your book. For this prompt, I want you to pick a book that has less than 5,000 ratings on Goodreads.
Ooh, that's hard. I don't really like just know off the top of my head how many reviews certain books have. I feel like we're gonna have to like go down a rabbit hole of like checking how many reviews. I could go back to my actual Goodreads TBR, but I kind of think I want to look through some of my audiobooks that I just just have, because I have a huge collection between Libro FM and Audible. So I think I might go to Libro FM. I immediately know which book I want to read because the first book listed here in my Libro FM library is Slow Dance by Rainbow Rowell. Obviously, Rainbow Rowell is not a small-time author, but Slow Dance just came out, so I feel like there's a good chance that it doesn't have that many reviews. Oh my god, I'm so excited! It has 2,737 reviews, so I'm gonna read Slow Dance by Rainbow Rowell, which I know is a second chance romance about these people who were like best friends when they were teenagers and now they're meeting up again. And I'm so excited to read this because I recently reread Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell and it was so good. It lived up to my memory, and that was YA, so I can't wait to read an adult release from Miss Rainbow Rowell because the way that she was writing contemporary romance, it was so good. It was so good. Should I have updated you sooner on Slow Dance? Absolutely. But this might be an indication of what I thought of it because Miss Rainbow Rowell is back and she actually owns the second chance romance genre. Sorry to every other girly that's tried it, you're just not her. This honestly might be my favorite book that I've read all year. There's something about the way that Rainbow Rowell writes the human condition that just scratches an itch in my brain. I love it so much. The way that she describes people and their intentions and their feelings. In this book we're following Shiloh and Carrie. Shiloh is the female character and Carrie is the male character. Not gonna lie, early days when I first heard about this book I thought it was about lesbians. There is just a man named Carrie in it. Shiloh and Carrie were BFFs in high school and they always kind of had a thing going on, but they never dated. And then later in life they lost contact and Shiloh actually went on to marry someone else, but she is now since divorced and she's a single mom, and they go to a wedding of a mutual friend and they reconnect and now they're like in their early 30s. I cannot even begin to describe how amazing this was. I really wish that I had been reading along in the physical copy when I was listening to the audiobook because there were so many good quotes, and I tried my hardest to find this one that stuck out to me, but I couldn't remember what chapter it was in and I flipped through so many pages and I can't find it. But there's this part where Carrie is literally telling Shiloh that he is on his knees begging her to be with him. He's like, I love you so much, you are my everything. Like, he is so down bad for her. She also likes him, but she has like a lot of anxiety that she has to deal with, and she also has children and there's a lot more complications in her life. But Carrie is like, I will literally pass away if you are not with me. If you want to read a book about a man that's been simping for a girl since he was 12 years old and now he's literally like 32 years old, this is the book for you. And you know what's really saying something is that I really enjoyed him as a character even though he's in the Navy, which was a jump scare to me. I don't really enjoy the military. Sorry if you're in the military or you are a military spouse. I'm gonna keep my comments about the American military complex to myself, but that did not hinder him from being an amazing male character. He's probably one of my favorite male leads in a romance that I've ever read. I just love that Rainbow Rowell stays winning because my reread of Fangirl was also amazing. And I need Rainbow Rowell to now pull an Emily Henry and start releasing adult romances at least once a year moving forward, because I'm scared of what I'll do if I don't get another one of these in my hands next year. If I ever see Rainbow walking down the street, I'm gonna kiss her on the mouth because this book is that good. And if I ever see the cover artist, I'm also gonna kiss them on the mouth because I love this cover. If I was the annotating type, I definitely think this would be annotatable. Is that a word? I don't know. Just imagine so many sticky tabs that you can't even see that the pages are white anymore. That is how much I would annotate this. It was so good. Also, while I was at it, I did buy a copy of You'd Look Better as a Ghost because I enjoyed this so much as well. The green books, they're doing great. We all know what time it is. It's time for me to find out what my next reading prompt is gonna be. So let me go ahead and see what Riley has to say.
Welcome back, bestie. So crazy running into you here. Do you come here often? I really want to know, if you could magically transport to the setting of your last book, would you want to live there? If yes, click here. If no, click here.
This is going to be a hard no because as much as I love this book, it does take place in Nebraska and I don't think I will ever step foot in Nebraska in my whole life, so I definitely do not want to be transported there. So sorry to my Nebraskans that watch me.
Oh, so you don't want to live there. Yeah, no, it kind of sounds terrible. For this prompt, pick a book that has the vibes of your current favorite song.
So my current favorite song is the entire Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess album by Chappell Roan. So I guess I'm just gonna look for something gay and quirky. I feel like those are Chappell Roan's vibes. I've actually been meaning to read more sapphic books, so this is kind of perfect. So I actually need to go do some research because I don't really know what I want to read.
Here we go, lesbians. Come on. Let's go. Let's go, lesbians.
Okay, I'm back. I have gone to the Sapphics and they have recommended me books. What I've decided to pick up is Light from Uncommon Stars because my understanding of this book is that it is very gay And it is also very quirky, which again is very Chappell Roan. The girlies were saying that this was sort of like a sci-fi, fantasy, speculative type of book. That sounds like a fun time to me. So I'm gonna start that today while I do the things I need to do. Basically, Aaron and I are going to Dragon Con, which is a nerd convention in Atlanta, and we're both working on cosplays. He is cosplaying Solaire from Dark Souls, so I need to help him sew the clothing piece that kind of goes with that costume because I am the sewist of our couple. And then for myself, I'm going to be cosplaying Jennifer from Jennifer's Body, and I'm going to do the white prom dress from the end of the movie. Am I going from 0 to 60 where I haven't really sewn a full garment and I'm just going to sew a prom dress? Yeah, I am. You know who's going to help me make that delusion a reality? Today's sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives with thousands of classes led by industry experts across film, illustration, design, freelance, productivity, and more. I know I've been mentioning sewing every time that Skillshare has sponsored me, but I really mean it. I am using these classes to learn what I need to learn. I watched the class Pattern Making for Beginners to prep for drafting my dress bodice. I really like that it breaks down dart manipulation because I want to make sure that the top of my dress conforms to the girls, if you know what I mean. The dress is a fairly simple shape. It's kind of just like straight across the top, and then it kind of has a gathered skirt that goes down. So I don't think it's going to be too complicated, but I really want the top piece to like sit nicely, and this class is just perfect for helping me with that. Also, Skillshare just announced some really exciting new updates. They now have smarter class categories and 3 new class topics: creative careers, creative inspiration, and AI and innovation. Also, when you join, Skillshare will ask you some questions about your interests, and from there, they'll start making recommendations based on your goals. If you're interested in starting your learning journey, the first 500 people to click the link in my description will get 1 month of Skillshare free. I am about halfway through Light from Uncommon Stars, and so far I'm really enjoying it. So I was right when I said that this book was gay and quirky. We're following a couple of different characters. We have Shizuka, who is a violin teacher known as the Queen of Hell because she sold her soul to a demon so that she could play the violin, and so she has to deliver 7 souls to hell in order for her to go back to playing violin and playing her music. And so she's looking for her 7th and final student, and that's when she finds the other main character, who is Katrina, a young transgender runaway. Definitely trigger warning for parental abuse and also transphobia in this book. And eventually she and Shizuka cross paths, and she starts being her violin teacher because she is supposed to be the 7th and final student, but obviously things might change along the way. And then finally, the other main character I would say is Lan, who owns a donut shop, but she's actually an alien. And one day Shizuka comes into her donut shop and they lock eyes, and they are having a budding sapphic romance. They are really feeling one another. I think what I appreciate about it is that it doesn't shy away from getting into these dark topics like transphobia and racism and other like kind of heavy things, but then also adding a lot of levity and quirkiness and silliness to it. So you're kind of smiling, but you're also maybe like tearing up a little bit. So I love like the different tones that the book is eliciting. Also, it has a lot of really good descriptions of food. So far, so good. I don't know if I'm loving it like quite as much as like other people. I know that a lot of people have claimed this to be like a favorite book of all time. There's something about the writing style that's just not like super clicking with me, but I am really enjoying like all the diversity and the characters and just kind of the absurd nature of it all. Also, I thought I would take this time to show you how my bodice block came out. That Skillshare class was actually extremely helpful because look at this. If you don't know what a bodice block or a sloper is, basically it is a template for you to make patterns off of it. So this is my front piece and this is my back piece, and it is actually perfectly done to my measurements. I loved that Skillshare class because she helped me do all the math. I did have to convert everything to centimeters because that lady was British, which is fine, but it was quite annoying. And I did finish this. It took a lot more hours than I thought I was going to, which is unfortunate. But I also got most of Aaron's tabard done for his cosplay. So I sewed this. It's kind of just like a tunic, you know, that he wears. I'll just put it on to show you. This is kind of basic, but it just took me a while to like pattern it out and cut all the pieces. I'm gonna paint a sun on it because if you know what Solaire looks like from Dark Souls, he does have a big sun on his chest. And so Skillshare has been so helpful in all of this with like the sewing, because I know that previously when I've been sponsored by them, I've talked about taking some sewing classes, and then also I did that bodice block, which I love. So I will be filming an entire video about my cosplay for Patreon where I actually get into like sewing the dress because I have all the fabric. So I'm gonna be getting into that soon, so I need to pattern that out. But also don't worry, if you're not one of my patrons, then I probably will also show the completed cosplay as long as I'm proud of it. I'll probably post a picture of it on Instagram, so you will see it eventually regardless. Hello Bessies, how are y'all doing? I'm actually getting ready right now because I'm going out tonight with my friend Katie. We are going to a singles night, not for me, but for Katie. I obviously am taken. If you don't know that, I have a boyfriend. I don't really show him on camera very often, but I do have a boyfriend. What's really nice about this event is that when you go, they ask you if you're single or taken, and they give you a glow stick that kind of corresponds with your status. And so Katie will have a green one, and I think I'll probably have like a red or a pink one or something like that. So I'm glad that I can go and like be a wing woman for her. Obviously it's a dog park, so we will be bringing our dogs with us, which isn't great for us because both Billy and her dog Zuri don't really enjoy dog parks. Like Billy's not really a dog, and neither is Zuri. They both like people. And then Zuri is actually afraid of most people. But we're gonna go and try to find a man's for Katie. If you happen to live in the greater Atlanta area and you have a brother or a friend or some sort of man that is liberal and very nice, preferably in his late 20s, early 30s, please let me know and I will set him up with Katie. There's also video evidence of how funny she is on my channel. You've seen her before in my videos when we talk about like taboo and dark romance. Anyway, let's get into my final thoughts about Light from Uncommon Stars. I'm gonna give this 4 stars. I did enjoy it, but it felt kind of long to me. That's not to say that it's a bad book because I do think it's good and I loved the quirkiness and I really enjoyed the characters. I just think there was a lot of like side stories and things going on outside like the 3 main characters that I didn't like super care about. There's also the element of having a couple of different competing plots that are kind of all like fighting to be center stage. And one of Lan's sons ends up building up this prejudice against humans, and so he's kind of in danger of doing something bad, so we're also kind of following that. And then not to mention there's also the violin maker fixer person named Lucy who's also like doing things. So there's just a lot of things, a lot of threads going on. And while I did enjoy the aspects that each of one of those like brought to the story, I feel like it did pull me in some different directions. I feel like it sounds like I didn't like it, but I did really enjoy it. I thought it was funny. I thought it was sweet. It made me tear up a couple of times. I really enjoyed like the found family element and acceptance, and there's just being this feeling of love. I feel like love was the underlying message, and so I really loved that. And obviously it was also very like diverse, so all of that was really cool, and I want to read more from this author because I assume that's how all of their books are going to be. I feel like my eyeshadow has really gotten away from me when all I'm doing is going to a dog park, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm just gonna sweat it off when I go outside. We do need to figure out what book I'm gonna read next, so let me finish my makeup and then we will look at Riley's next question, see what the prompt is, and go from there. So our makeup is gonna be done in 3, 2, 1. Okay, you'll have to let me know how that transition went. I didn't really plan it that well, so.
We have a special guest for this next question. Loki is dying to know, while you were reading your last book, did Billy eat any of your food? If yes, click over here. If no, click right here.
Okay, first of all, this question is very timely because I'm about to go to a dog park and I'm literally wearing a shirt with my dog's face on it. I know many of you might not be aware of this, but my dog Billy is notorious for eating human food. She is a menace. On my birthday, we got pizzas and they were on the kitchen counter, and we went away for like 30 minutes and we came downstairs. She'd eaten an entire pepperoni pizza. She can jump very high. She's very agile and she will find a way to get food. My patrons actually know this very well because there's been times that we were on a live show and I walked away for a second and I accidentally forgot there was food there, and they literally watched her take food off of my desk. I don't hear Billy, no! No! Guys, she got the other 9! But I can happily say that even though it took me a couple days to finish this book, Billy has not eaten any of my food. I don't think this really has anything to do with Billy being more obedient. I think it more has everything to do with me and Erin being more cognizant of not leaving our food out. So there is that.
Wow, Miss Billy, I'm so impressed. She did not eat any of your food. And because of that, your next prompt is to pick a book with a cover that you love.
Okay, I'm thinking about some books where I like the covers. I think I'm gonna go into my Libro FM library again and kind of look through here because I have a lot of books that I have downloaded as an advanced listener copy and I haven't read any of them. Obviously most of these have come out, I just haven't gotten around to reading them, so I'm kind of looking through. I do like the cover of Brick, Dust and Bones and Shadow Drive. What do I want to read? You know, I'm kind of in the mood for a novella, and I've had this novella forever. It's called Even Though I Knew the End by C.L. Polk. I know that it is some sort of like noir fantasy novella. I think it's sapphic, which I would love to continue in the sapphic vein. So I think I'm gonna read this because it's only 3 hours and 51 minutes long and it just kind of is calling to me. I haven't read a novella in a while. So now that I got my next book, I will start it on my way to the dog park and hopefully we will have found Katie a man.
There's a sparkle in your eyes. I feel the warmth of your skin. Just the touch of your hand makes me
Unfortunately, the dog park ended up being a bust. The event just wasn't very organized. It took forever to even get into the dog park because you have to provide vaccines and like evidence that your dog is like okay to go into the park. And they were doing everything like manually. And then when you got in there wasn't really any sort of like organization or ways to speak to people beyond just like going up to someone who had a green wristband. And although Katie is really going outside of her comfort zone to go to these in-person events, it just was like weird vibes overall. There were a lot of people in like small groups. So Katie kind of marked this off as it was just a good thing to go to kind of get her to continue to go to in-person events, but we don't think that we will frequent this one again. I did finish even though I knew the end, and I really enjoyed it. So this book takes place in 1920s Chicago, and it's following a character named Helen who is a private detective, and she gets hired by a demon to hunt down this serial killer called the White City Vampire. And she also has this girlfriend named Edith who's like the love of her life, and so it's about their relationship as well as her doing her detective work. I wish that I could give it 5 stars, but because it was a novella, there just wasn't enough there. It was so good, but there were just elements with the world building that were kind of hard to understand at first because of the length of the novel. I really want to read more of C.L. Polk because I did look up all of her books, and she has some other full-length novels that aren't super popular, so I kind of want to dive into them and see what I think. I was actually hoping when I went on her Goodreads that I would find that she had written like a full-length novel in this world because it was so good. It kind of felt like The Diviners meets Supernatural. If you like either of those things and you like the 1920s, then I think that you would enjoy this. It just was so good, and I loved the romance. Also, unrelated to reading, I had a doctor's appointment today because I did a sleep study and I found out that I have sleep apnea, and I talked to the doctor's office about what my options were. And why did no one tell me that CPAP machines are like over $1,000? There's also an option for me to do a mouth guard that like pushes my jaw forward to prevent me from snoring. That also costs over $1,000. So I need to call upon my sleep apnea girlies. Please let me know what you do in the comments, because a CPAP machine actually sounds like my hell. The idea of a machine like pumping air into my throat literally makes me feel like I'm gonna suffocate. I've never done one before. I can barely handle it when you get a facial and they put like the steamy air in your face, so I don't really know what I would do if I had a contraption on my head. I also don't do well like sleeping with things on my head. I can't even really sleep with an eye mask, so I'm leaning towards the mouth guard. But then I was watching YouTube videos online and people were saying that it can fuck up your teeth, and I already had braces when I was a teenager, so I'm not looking to do that again. So I need you guys that have sleep disorder issues to let me know what you're doing out there. What are we doing? Because apparently I can't just be snoring. Anyway, let's find out what the next challenge is.
Wow, we are on our final question. It's crazy how time flies. For your last question, I need to know, if you were placed into the Hunger Games against the main character of the last book that you read, do you think you could beat them? If yes, click here. If no, click here.
Unfortunately for me, I don't think that I could beat Helen in the Hunger Games. She was a real tough cookie, and also she was a warlock. She had magic, so I don't think that I would win against her.
Ooh, you don't think you could beat them? Yeah, no. I kind of had a feeling. That's okay. For this prompt, I want you to give an author a second chance.
Okay, besties, please hear me out on this one. Recently, one of my Libby holds came through, and I've been wanting to read this book for a while, and it's very popular because it's a new release, so it's kind of my opportunity to read it. And I feel like if we really squint and stretch it, it can fit this prompt. And that is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. Technically, this would not be giving her a second chance because I already gave her a second chance after The Friend Zone, and that's when I read Part of Your World. But then I read Yours Truly, which I also hated. So her odds are not great right now. I have 2 books that I hated and only one that I loved. Everybody is ranting and raving about Just for the Summer. So I kind of want to give Abby Jimenez another chance. Is it technically a second chance? No. Is she technically an author that I have given a 5 stars before? Yeah. But she's also an author that I've given a 1 and a 2 star to. So I think that I can make it work for this prompt. I'll probably start this book much later tonight because we're actually going to dinner at this Chinese restaurant in Atlanta called Jen Chan's that does this thing called Mahjong Mondays. Erin and I are going with our friends Emily and Jason, and I feel like it's just gonna be a really fun time. I've always wanted to learn how to play Mahjong, and I know there's a lot of different ways to play. I have a good feeling I'm gonna enjoy it. update you sooner. I did, but then I ended up reading the book in one sitting. Just for the Summer was so good. Miss Abby Jimenez, she's back, baby. Abigail is my friend again. What are the chances I read 2 of my favorite romances of the year in the same vlog? I love this vlog. It was so fun. It was just like so refreshing to read 5 books that I actually liked. Like everything was a 4 or 5 star. I'm just so pleased, and I'm so grateful to Riley for providing all of these clips for me. So Just for the Summer starts with a Reddit post. Our main guy character, which by the way, I cannot remember his name. I know he has a J name. Can't remember either of the names. I feel like Abby Jimenez chooses the most like basic run-of-the-mill names. Oh my god, his name's like, oh, it's Justin. I remember that while I was reading it, every time the girl's name came up, I was like, oh wow. Like I kept forgetting it even while I was reading it, even though I loved both characters, like Justin and what's her face. They were great. I really loved them. Well, anyway, we start with a Reddit post that Justin has written, and he's basically saying, am I the asshole? And he tells this whole long story about how he has this curse that every time he dates someone and they break up, the girl will go on to meet her soulmate and like get married. So he was dating this girl and it didn't work out, and she ended up going on to date his friend Brad, and they are now engaged. And so he named his dog Brad, and he got this very like ugly mutt from the pound, and his friend was like, please change the name, and everyone's like begging him in his life to change the name. So he's writing in to be like, am I the asshole? Should I have not named my dog Brad? So the female character, whom I cannot remember her name, reads this post and she decides to message him because she actually has the same curse. This has happened to her like 5 times, and so she's kind of like, haha, I have the same thing. And so they start talking, and they start talking on the phone and writing each other messages and texting, and she's a travel nurse, and so she decides to make her next station be in Minnesota where he lives so that they can date, because they basically want to break each other's curse. Obviously when they meet, they fall in love right away, but she has like a lot of emotional issues. She had like a really rough childhood, and she doesn't really believe in like commitment, and that's kind of why she's a travel nurse, and she's always like going around, and she doesn't really let a lot of people into her life. It was just such the perfect mix between being funny and sweet, but also being very sad. Like I cried multiple times while I was reading this. It was almost as good as Part of Your World, which is really saying something, because Part of Your World is one of the best romances I've ever read in my life. This is a very close second, and I'm just so happy because I've now read 4 Abby Jimenez's, and I was getting nervous when 2 out of the 3 previously I really hated. I have officially decided she is for me, with some caveats that sometimes she likes some tropes that I'm not into. Thankfully she didn't do any of that in this book. I just loved it so much. I loved the banter between the 2 characters. I loved the female character. I wish I remembered her name because she really is a special character. If you're a fan of caretaking, I really think you'd like this book, because there's a whole section where the girl gets sick and he has to come and take care of her, and then he gets sick and she has to take care of him, and so it's just like a bunch of like caretaking happening, and it was so cute. There also is this other side plot where the guy's mom is about to leave and go somewhere, so he has to take on his younger siblings for the next like 5 or 6 years, and so that's kind of something that's affecting their relationship, because she doesn't really want kids because she has commitment issues, and so there is an element of children, and I don't like children. I know many of you know that about me. I'm kind of a kid hater, but the kids were just enough in the story that it added a lot of like sentimentality, and I did enjoy them, but they weren't there too much, so they didn't like annoy me. Also, I find it funny that I'm talking about a book called Just for the Summer and I'm wearing a Halloween shirt right now. I wanted to show off the t-shirts that I recently bought from Book Babe Designs, because she just dropped all of her Halloween stuff. If you like any of this, I'll link it down below, because it's available for the entire month of August, and I love Halloween. I'm so ready. I also got this bandana recently that has bats on it, and I am just so ready for fall, and so I was like, why not wear it for this update? There's also a really fun message like on the back where it says like feed the locals or drink the local, I don't know what it says, something about the locals. And then I got this one, which I think is so cute. It says the most wonderful time of the year, and it has these skeletons like in a convertible, and they're also going to a bookstore. I love like the Las Vegas vibe, but they're also going to a bookstore. And then on the back it has this, which is like so cute. I love this so much. I don't normally like to get white t-shirts. I love the design so much that I did it anyway. And then finally I got this sweatshirt, which I absolutely love. I think it's so cute. It's got these little cats that are in pumpkins with books. It's so cute. So I can't wait to wear this all the time. Literally all the time. I don't even care that it's not October yet. I'm gonna be wearing this from this moment forward. Now, if you enjoyed this Choose Your Own Adventure vlog, then feel free to use the map emoji in your comments down below so that I know that you made it to the end. And if you're interested in this concept as a readathon that you can do, like I mentioned, I've already posted this on my Patreon, so you can head on over there and get started and do your own Choose Your Own Adventure. I thank you all so much for watching. You're all beautiful. Have a nice day.